Today we're going to be extracting the oil from the cannabis. Now, as you know, the oil is used to fight against cancer, arthritis, and a whole host of diseases. But at this point right now, we're going to focus on extracting the oil from the cannabis. Now, some of the ingredients we're going to have, the materials we have here now, we have some ethyl alcohol. This is strong rum. It is 80% by volume, but ideally it is better to have 96% alcohol by volume. That is what I was able to get. We are going to work with it, but we are going to modify the procedure in that normally we would have just used the alcohol to extract the oil over a period of 1 week, just using the 96% alcohol. But since the alcohol percentage that we're using is lower, we are going to actually do some grinding of the plant material. So this is a mutton piece. So this is the material, some of the material. And we are going to do some crushing. So the reason why we are doing it like that is we're trying to increase the surface area to the volume. In that way, it will be more of it will be exposed for the extraction, as opposed to leaving it in big chunks. So we have it. This is the mortar. We have it here, and we're going to crush it or pound it so that we can get a higher surface area to volume ratio. What we're going to do now is, after we've done the crushing, we are now going to use this receptacle to place the plant material in. We're going to place it the plant material. You could use a glass jar. This is actually glass. So we're going to use this glass jar here. We're going to place all the plant material inside of it. And if it is dry enough, it may not even be necessary to actually do the pounding like I was doing a while ago. Now there are sometimes in a modified version of the process, you could actually use one of these electrical grinders to grind it into smaller pieces. Now we're trying to get all of it inside of this glass receptacle. So this is what we have here. We are going to pour in this is the alcohol. We are going to pour in the alcohol. Now, it is very important that you allow the alcohol to cover all the material, and we are going to allow it to stand for 1 week that will give enough time for the oils to dissolve in the alcohol. So I'm going to do some shaking so that it will actually mix more thoroughly. So right now this is the receptacle with the cannabis plant and the alcohol. I'm going to allow that to stand for 1 week to extract all the oils, or as much as possible to extract all the oils that we can extract. We're going to continue the process after 1 week. Now this is day 3 of the extraction process of the cannabis. Now you will recall that what we did was we had the cannabis placed in this glass jar, and we covered it with alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Now normally we said we normally did 96% alcohol, but we only had 80%. And so if the alcohol percentage that you have is lower, it is very important that you crush the cannabis buds before you actually go through the process, and just crush it so that you increase the surface area. Now on the first day, the color was actually a greenish color, but as of today, day 3, it has turned to a kind of purplish color. It is more purple. It is purplish or brownish kind of a color. So this is day 3, and that is the change that I have seen so far. The color has changed to a purplish color. Now this is day 3 of the extraction process of the cannabis. Now you will recall that what we did was we had the cannabis placed in this glass jar, and we covered it with alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Now normally we said normally people use 96% alcohol, but we only had 80%. And so if the alcohol percentage that you have is lower, it is very important that you crush the cannabis buds before you actually go through the process, and just crush it so that you increase the surface area. Now on the first day, the color was actually a greenish color, but as of today, day 3, it has turned to a kind of purplish color. It is more purple. It is purplish or brownish kind of a color. So this is day 3, and that is the change that I have seen so far. The color has changed to a purplish color. So today is day 7 of the extraction process, and this is the product that we have after day 7. You can see that there's a dramatic change in the color from day 1. We showed you how it was on day 2, I think, day 2, where it was the color was changing to a dark brown or purplish color. The intensity of the color has increased in terms of the fact that it is more purple now than what it was like on day 2. And so what we're going to do today is we are just going to be filtering the contents so that we're going to separate the plant material that we had here, the cannabis buds. We're going to separate that from the liquid, because what we have extracted, the oil that we have extracted, is actually in this alcohol. So what we're going to do is we're going to filter this, and we are going to allow the alcohol to stand for maybe around 2 days to get the alcohol to evaporate, leaving only the oil at the bottom. So the filtrate, after the 2 days, the filtrate will just be the oil, and that is what we're going to be using. Cancer, for arthritis, epilepsy, asthma. So we're going to go through the filtration process, and it is a very simple situation, a very simple setup, because it's supposed to be a situation where somebody can just get it done at their home with very little equipment and material. So I deliberately designed it in a way that the average person can benefit from the process. And so this is what we're going to filter it inside of. The filtrate will be inside of this. This is a sieve here, ordinary sieve that you have at your house. We're going to place it over the collecting dish. Now I'm going to use when you listen to some procedures, they use the filter from the coffee mix from coffee makers. Not everybody have access to those things, and so what I'm going to use is the hand towels, the napkins that you have at home. I'm going to use it to put over this sieve. So we're going to be separating all the planting materials. I want nothing to get into the filtrate. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to arrange it nicely. So in that way, we just want to be consistent. At the end, we want the filtrate here to just contain only the extract. So I'm placing it over the receptacle that I'll be using. And so this is what we're going to be filtering. I'm trying to be careful. Alright then. So we're going to be pouring it over, pouring it in. Now what could happen is what I could have done to increase the extraction was to add more alcohol to this and allow it to stay for maybe 3 days, not a whole week, maybe 3 days, and go through the same process again. But we are just going to go with what we have here. We're just going to do one filtration. And this will be discarded. I'm going to discard the planting material. So this is what it looks like. Trying to get a close-up. Is almost finished. Filtration is almost completed. So this is what we have now. This is the filtrate. So this is basically the oils, the cannabis oil dissolved in the ethyl alcohol. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to allow this filtrate to stand for maybe 24 hours until all the ethyl alcohol evaporates. So at the end, what we're going to have is just the oil. So I'm going to allow it to stand and evaporate, and probably for 2 days. So somewhere in the middle of this evaporation, I'm going to add just a small drop of water, distilled water, and basically it is believed that the water allows a more thorough and complete completion of the process. So I'm going to allow it to stay for probably 24 or 48 hours until all the ethyl alcohol has evaporated.